My Hero Academia, the 10 most one-sided fights, ranked. My Hero Academia features incredible fight scenes, but some of these battles were quick and totally one-sided. My Hero Academia is a smash shonen action series pitting superheroes against mighty villains. And hero students like Izuku Midoriya are caught right in the middle. Izuku and his classmates need to train and learn quickly to keep up, and they have made remarkable progress. But even then, not all fights are fair, and sometimes, heroes suffer swift defeat. While many of My Hero Academia's best fight scenes are balanced and fair, some battles are completely lopsided, where one party has a complete advantage over the other. Fortunately, many of these one-sided fights were in controlled environments, such as the UA Sports Festival, but out there in the real world, anything can happen. Which fights were the most unfair and one-sided? 10. Izuku Midoriya Katsuki Bakugo vs All Might. This fight was rather one-sided, but Izuku and his frenemy Katsuki Bakugo still stood a sliver of a chance, which allowed them to narrowly win. On paper, though, it was hopeless. They were up against the symbol of peace, the invincible All Might, and the two boys weren't even cooperating at first. For a time, All Might simply toyed with his young opponents, throwing them around and criticizing them for their poor teamwork and lack of resolve. Bakugo tried in vain to beat All Might alone, and he finally cooperated with Izuku to achieve a desperate victory. 9. Eijiro Kirishima Rikido Sato vs Cementos. A series of physical exams pitted pairs of students against their teachers, such as Izuku and Bakugo vs All Might, and another battle pitted Rikido Sato and Eijiro Kirishima vs the concrete hero Cementos. At first, these two melee students did well, shattering Cementos barriers as they formed. However, these two students lacked long-term endurance, and Cementos eventually overwhelmed them and trapped them inside a concrete dome. The boys might have stood a chance if they had altered their strategy, but that never happened. 8. Denki Kaminari vs Ibara Shiozaki. The electric Denki Kaminari was happy to be matched up with a lovely girl like Ibara Shiozaki, but he was taking things too lightly. Ibara ranks among Class 1B's strongest students. And while she is a soft-spoken pacifist, she is far from defenseless. Denki wowed the crowds with a powerful blast of lightning, but Ibara's quirk was well suited to blocking such an assault. Ibara used her vines to seize Denki and pacify him, and she was declared the winner. She didn't even have to shed any blood. 7. Mina Ashido vs Yuga Aoyama. Mina Ashido, the acid girl, did well against the support hero Yuga Aoyama, thanks to her superior agility. Mina is a naturally gifted dancer, and she puts that fact to good use during battle. She can slide around on acid to evade enemy attacks, and in this duel, Yuga tried in vain to hit her with his laser. Mina got close to her opponent, and finished the fight with one blow to the chin, knocking Yuga flat onto his back. He was down, and Mina was declared the winner. Fortunately, Yuga's spirits weren't broken by this and was soon back to his usual self. 6. Mina Ashido vs Fumikichi Tokoyami. Mina beat Yuga to advance to the next round in the sports festival tournament, and her next foe, the raven-headed Fumikichi Tokoyami, was vastly more powerful than Yuga. Mina slid around on her acid to evade Dark Shadow and find an opening, but it was in vain. Mina tried to hang on, but Dark Shadow was faster and much stronger than her, and Fumikichi used it to push Mina right out of the arena's boundaries, disqualifying her. Mina was not happy, but at least she wasn't badly hurt either. 5. Momo Yaoyorozu vs Fumikichi Tokoyami. This was yet another one-sided fight in the sports festival, and once again, Fumikichi's incredible firepower led to a swift victory. Fumicage's first match pitted him against Momo, who created a metal shield and staff to fight back against her talented foe. She was thinking along the right lines, but it wasn't enough to win. Fumicage demonstrated remarkable restraint and control as he used just enough power in his quirk to push Momo back and nudge her out of the arena's outer boundary, disqualifying her. Momo didn't even notice until the announcer, Midnight, pointed it out. Momo was totally dismayed at her quick loss. But she wasn't hurt, at least. 4. Tenya Ida vs Ibara Shiozaki. Ibara had an easy time defeating Denki Kaminari, but she wasn't ready to deal with Tenya Ida's incredible running speed. In theory, Ibara could shut Tenya down if she tangled him up in her vines to prevent him from running. But her vines were too slow to attempt that. Ibara sent out her vines, but Tenya was already behind her, and he shoved her all the way across the arena with his superior speed to push Ibara out of bounds. It was another quick and bloodless victory, and Ibara was totally outclassed. 3. Tenya Ida vs Stain the Hero Killer. Most of the real fights in My Hero Academia are fairly balanced, to draw out the fight and make the final victory feel earned. But even then, a few fights were quick and one-sided, such as when Tenya ran off to confront Stain the Hero Killer. It turned out very badly. Stain is even quicker than Tenya, and he boasts superior technique and stealth as well. Tenya intended to avenge his fallen brother Tensei, but he ended up helpless on the ground, and he might have died if Izuku and Shoto Todoroki hadn't shown up to help. 2. All for One vs Best Jeanist Squad. This was another one-sided fight with real stakes, and it showed just how overwhelming the villainous All for One can be. The Bakugo rescue operation was proceeding smoothly until a squad of pro-heroes ran afoul of All for One, who defeated them with chilling ease. Empty Lady and Gang Orca went down at once, and even the highly ranked Best Jeanist only lasted a few more seconds until All for One took him down and moved on to fight All Might personally. Never before had pro-heroes been beaten this badly. 1. Mina Ashido Denki Kaminari vs Principal Nizu. The most one-sided fight in My Hero Academia was a bloodless and amusing one. Denki and Mina were forced to fight on their opponents' terms, putting them at an overwhelming disadvantage. Principal Nizu is a brilliant teacher, and Denki and Mina both get terrible grades in class. Denki and Mina have good instincts and impressive willpower. But in a battle of wits and brains, they can't defeat anyone, especially not Nizu. Worst of all, they couldn't even reach Nizu in person. He was operating a tall crane, and Denki and Mina simply ran around in a panic until time ran out. They stood no chance whatsoever.